stop! Sure you want the rest of it?
Dirty Harry Minute. Dirty Harry Minute. Dirty Harry Minute Podcast. Dirty Harry Minute Podcast.
Every penny's worth.
Welcome back to Dirty Harry Minute, the only podcast in the world to review every minute of that 1971 Warner Brothers classic, Dirty Harry. I'm one of your hosts, John, and I am joined by a long-time co-host, but missing for many months in action, new father, Tim Keong.
Hello.
Thanks for coming along.
Thanks for having me back. I thought I might be banished forever.
For having a child.
We were thinking of calling in child services because I saw some suspicious photos of you with your new infant watching Police Academy 7 or 4, and that counts as abuse, I think.
Well, it's the only thing they show on TV these days. As I'm feeding, I turn the TV on, and it's always one of the Police Academy films. So it's a bit of a lottery as to whether you get the good ones or the bad ones.
Yeah. Well, 4 is one of the good ones. Apologies we have to give for Trent, Tim.
Yeah, I don't know.
Might be a bit later on.
He must hold a grudge against me or something.
And old man Shane, thanks for joining us.
Hi, how are you guys? I'll be playing the part of Trent today. I've got Wikipedia in one hand and all the facts ready to unload.
That's great. And we have first-time guest, stand-up comedian, stand-up performer, corporate entertainer, Karen Sims.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for hosting us in this great room, Tim.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Describe it for the listeners, John. It's
Shane's a better describer than me. We are in a lovely palatial
Theaterette.
I don't like the et. I don't like the et, thanks.
Oh,
it's a theatre.
Theatre.
Theaterette makes sound, like just in the corner of a room made up.
It sounds cute. In New Zealand, they call their little supermarkets superettes. Has anyone heard that? How cute is that?
like a cigarette, but not.
Well, literally,
But
it's
like
a
a
small
kitchenette
cigar.
is a tiny kitchen.
Oh, is that why a cigarette is... that's a cigarette
it's
to a
different,
cigar?
No. Different word altogether.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought it was a baby cigar kind of. No.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a baby cigar.
Or like a lady's cigar. Like
Yeah.
it's got a feminine kind of
Different
thing
kind of cancer.
Clint doesn't smoke. Dirty Harry doesn't smoke, does he, Tim?
I read that. He doesn't. It's the fake cigarettes.
Yeah.
If I had that body and face, I wouldn't smoke either.
Hang on. So
I'd
he
hold on
never
to it.
smokes in the film?
He's,
Dirty Harry never
he's
smokes.
pro-guns, anti-cigarettes. Go figure.
In the Simpsons parody McGarnagle, he's smoking. You gotta tell him, Billy. But not Clint. Well, today we're reviewing minute 80. The minute begins with Chico closing his present box and ends with Chico's unnamed lady friend saying, "It's my fault, you know. I thought I could take it." What do you think about this minute, Karen?
I think so many things about this minute. Mostly, I think, how does Harry go from not wanting Chico around to suddenly buying food for him? Doesn't make sense at all. Plus, the name Chico is terribly offensive.
Yes.
And Chico really did marry up. Didn't he? I mean, look at that lovely young waspish woman. I looked her up on Wikipedia. She's Norma.
Oh, yes.
We never mention her because, I mean, she does have a bit of a lead role in that she's the only female not grief-stricken, raped or murdered
Yeah.
in the entire movie. She has the best diction of anyone else. She's alive as opposed to the district attorney and the mayor and the chief of police, who I think actually were dead, just standing up in there.
We did
their
say they are
positions.
ghosts. There's a theory that
They were ghosts. They were ghosts in 71. God knows they must have had dirt on the producers and directors, I think, because they are the most appalling actors. No
Cardboard?
shocking diction, cardboard, and anyway, shocking. So Norma in her beautiful shiny 1970s raincoat.
Yeah, what is it? Is that PVC? What?
Yeah, look, one match and it's gone. Like, it's just, but she's lovely up until she starts the self-blame. And she seems to have affection for Chico. but I think it'll wane over the years. I can't
You think
see
it's
it.
a new relationship?
I think I can't. I think they're pretty newly married, and it, you know, in years to, if they had a Dirty Harry 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Which they did, up to 5.
You're joking. How did I miss all that? Well, you do. So as mentioned off air, I did see this movie as a very young child.
How did it strike you?
Well, so being a child of the 60s, this is the rubbish I grew up with.
Rubbish?
I'm sorry to offend your religion like that, but, you know, cinemagraphically, script-wise, acting-wise, I happen to believe it's appalling. I think they got the wardrobe right.
Yes, they did.
The wardrobe's bang on, but even in its time, it was so wooden. But yeah, so somehow, as a very young child, the adult supervising me let me watch this movie. I had nightmares for weeks.
At least it wasn't Police Academy.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. And also, I was a very serious child, so everything was literal.
Do you remember, would it have been in the theaterette that you watched?
Oh, rudeness, Tim. Well, actually, I think it must have been on TV because I didn't go to the cinema as a child,
Yeah, right.
which doesn't really make sense, but I can remember watching it and being terrified to go to sleep, and also totally paranoid because if beautiful people in crocheted bikinis get killed in the pool, what hope has anybody else got? And there's probably a sniper on every corner, so watch out, you know, Melbourne living in the 70s. But yeah, so Chico's getting his therapy in the open air desolate building.
Which means physiotherapy,
It
not
does.
psychological.
It was
Yeah.
definitely physiotherapy. But look at when you see the nurse come in, just into the frame a little bit. So Norma stands up, even though we never know her name. There's the nurse in the little peaked white cap.
Just like an awkward, just
It's
she just had to move in,
it's so awkward.
make her presence known.
The entire.
I wonder if in the pan and scan version we bothered to
Show her.
see that shot.
Pan far left.
Right.
We speculated in previous minutes, because of Harry's comment, I picked up this food, the place I go to.
Yeah.
Is it a box of hot dogs? That's where he goes.
I don't think it's going to be anything healthy.
Hot
and-
dog or donuts?
And, you know, being a single man, and we'll get to that soon, I'm sure, he's not cooking for himself, is he? And he has no one else to cook for him. So I think he goes to a diner most nights and...
In the sequel, he comes home to his one-room apartment, and has a half-eaten hamburger and a beer.
That sounds
I
actually
believe I
pretty
missed
good right
that
now.
there were sequels. I should have done more
Well,
research.
they didn't have the name Dirty Harry in them.
What were they?
The
Magnum Force, the Enforcer.
Oh, I just assumed that was Magnum PI, which is a really bad move on my part.
What do you think, Shane? Do you think it's a hot dogs or...
It
Donuts.
definitely seems like he just happened to be at the supermarket and picked up one of those Coles cakes.
A loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Really cheap ones.
That's right. Or more incidental than.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Harry's really dark? Maybe it could be Anne-Marie Deacon's tooth.
Oh, jeez. That's a big box for a
Oh,
small
what
tooth.
about the dentist identified this? It's a tooth. Well, I actually could have identified it. It's a tooth, and I'm not a dentist.
You didn't go to school for 6 years
That's
to figure out what a tooth was?
I didn't have to. And the way they can't say panties the second time.
Yeah.
Don't you love that? That's so 70s that they had these grossly violent films,
Yeah.
but can't say the word panties a second time. Please.
What do you think of this minute, Tim?
I think I remember when I very first watched this, being, as you said, I think he's Chico's
Racist.
batting above.
His weight.
Yeah, because I remember being kind of shocked that he was actually married.
Yeah.
For some reason,
I
I'd
thought
assumed
that too.
he wouldn't. He was a loner, like just fresh out of the academy or whatever. And
Well, Mr. Bean would never get a wife like that.
Except in real life, he has.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a supermodel in real
Rowan.
life. The injustice continues.
An age inappropriate supermodel?
maybe he just doesn't talk and does, what do you call it, slapstick comedy, and she makes a laugh all the time.
Oh, laughter's important.
Shane,
Yes.
could Chico be any more embarrassed here? How would you describe him? He's a broken man. Who invited Harry here? Do you think the wife called Harry? Chico obviously would prefer not to have this encounter. with Harry, wouldn't he? Just, oh, it's so embarrassing. Just let me quietly.
Slither away.
Stretch my hammy.
Oh, you probably have to visit your partner in hospital. That's probably part of,
And
being a
Harry's used to that.
respectful, because all these partners end up in a bad way.
Do you think Fanducci or Dietrich had this open air treatment? This looks like a pretty cool hospital rooftop, don't you
I
think?
know.
If there wasn't so many patients jammed in here like Cuckoo Nest, but I thought, yeah, this would make a good spot for a bar. If this was Melbourne, you would have a fridge and a guy in a suit serving you microbrew beers. Perfect location. Look at the view. Look at the skies.
Well, it would be even more Melbourne for this to become like a dilapidated site after they finish, and then converting it into a.
And then 3 years later,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
opening up
Exactly.
completely
Yeah.
different looking.
And being San Fran, the earthquake will come any second and destroy the whole thing.
And that tin roof's not going to last.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Well, Karen, we've talked in the past how Harry embodies these old-fashioned morals and everything, but
Yeah.
I just don't see Harry as the handshaking type. Do you reckon he shakes hands very often?
I think he would for Chico because he does feel partly responsible for yet another assistant going down. So, I think he would do that. And also, I don't think what you men understand is when every woman watches this movie and Harry touches someone, deep down, they're actually touching me. So, he just, for him to have skin contact, is like, yeah, I could shake that hand.
Wow. That's a point of view I didn't notice.
Yeah, well, I rest my case. Oh, he's wiping it though. Look, he's wiping his hand.
Is this the minute he says he doesn't want to be a cop anymore? Sorry,
He says
Yes.
he's got a teaching credential. I figure, what for,
Do you think that was like that's sort of maybe this is part of the trope, but it's sort of become a very in like cop films. The partner wants to get out and retire.
The entire thing is a cliche upon cliche. Absolutely.
Well, Tim, when he leaves, maybe I reckon, Karen, you say he's not destined to be with this lovely lady for long. Maybe he'll end up not being a teacher either and being more like a Robert Downey Jr. living on the boat.
Well, that's all right.
Oh no, I think he'll stay as a sociology teacher for about 48 years.
He'll go far then.
He'll just trot up to the same high school in the same clothing,
Yeah.
talking about sociology. Norma's gone off. I mean, I really wanted Harry and Norma to get it on. I reckon that
Right here, right now, in front of
was
Chico.
walking down.
Wow.
Cop this, Chico.
That is
You
a
can't
totally
get out of
different
bed.
movie.
But even as a little girl, I reckon I thought, they're about to do it. And they didn't. They just walked down the stairs. Had this
All I
dumb
can say
conversation.
is it's. I hope Chico did get out of the force because if you watch In the Line of Fire with also starring Clint Eastwood,
Oh, yeah.
his partner tells him he wants to quit.
He says he's going to a psychiatrist as well. Harry goes, Harry, I can't do this. I've seen a counsellor.
Oh, and In the Line of Fire.
Yeah, that David Schwimmer.
Yeah,
Poor
yeah,
man's
yeah,
David
yeah.
Schwimmer. What's his
But
name?
then he doesn't end up.
He dies.
He gets killed. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
He should have stuck with the therapy.
Yeah, that's the one where Clint's going, cut this cockamamie shit. He's very unlike Harry in that. He's going, don't be a pussy, And the David Schwimmer guy's like, I'm going to a therapist. I can't deal with this. Yeah.
I reckon it's a nice contrast because, Clint's character is not going to show any of this weakness and he's so dead set about his job. So it's nice to see Chico as a man and his partner going in the total opposite direction and like losing his nerve and rethinking why is he in the police force. This is dangerous. I got a wife.
I think it's a very good work-life balance solution. And also, Harry's got nothing else to do. So he can be married to the force and he gets all the dirty jobs. So, I don't think Harry minds that Chico's going to go and be a teacher.
Look how much Chico... He's already preparing to be a teacher. He's got the glasses on the string.
He's a nerdy
he looks like a nerd. Yeah. In this
Aged
scene.
a lot in this movie.
Yeah, well, he's got an injury.
Do you think above and beyond, he probably will have post-traumatic stress? He maybe see a psychiatrist as well?
I can see a lawsuit against the San Francisco police. Like probably a book or two, being, a teacher he can write, hopefully. And Norma's gone off, so he's got time as well. Yeah.
What would the name of his book be?
You'll go far, so
If I didn't get injured.
Chico is a highly racist name. Don't call me Chico.
Don't call me Chico is good.
Yeah, don't call me Chico. Maybe, why does Norma love Harry more than me? Yeah,
Clean Chico.
exactly.
No,
exactly.
rooftops without ceilings.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's poetic, Tim.
Yeah.
Tim, did we know enough about Chico to really invest in him, though? I mean, there's no real character development.
Well, that's why I was saying it's kind of shocking to actually see that he's married. Like, what? I don't know. It's like you only see him like 3 times before this.
Yeah, you don't even see Harry's home life in this movie, so you don't even see Chico's.
Oh, again, being men, you've got it all wrong now. Because in our heads, every woman has a complete picture of Harry's home life. And again, I'm in it. I probably even could start cooking just for Harry so he didn't have to buy hot dogs at a diner.
In the sequel, his new partner's like, come over. The wife wants to cook us a meal and everything.
All right.
Sort of like we see in 7, where he goes home with Gwyneth Paltrow. And then in the last one, the Deadpool, he's got the Chinese sidekick.
Yeah.
And he's always talking about his granddad Quan.
Yeah.
Granddad Quan. My granddad Quan said this. And yeah, we weren't quite at that period in filmmaking where you had the Lethal Weapon characters, like the good guy, the buddies movies.
Should we go down the stairs?
I think we should. Pretty much this is saying goodbye to Chico, Tim.
Farewell.
miss you.
I
Or
was
as I said in the first episode, he's like C3 Chico. If you don't want me, I'll power down, sir. Lame-o. That's why we've got a comedian here.
The other thing I sort of remember about first seeing this scene is the disappointment in Chico that we wouldn't see him. Like, it was like, is that it? He's just served his purpose for the film by saving Harry, but we're not going to see him again?
Yeah.
Is that...
Do you think Harry is legitimately a bit sadder than he is with his previous partners?
No, it's only because it's this part of the movie and the others are historical. And we just need to see Harry outside with his broad shoulders and shaking hands.
It's a nice day. Take that jacket off.
Keep going, Harry.
Am I on the right?
Can we just talk about Harry's hair? I mean, this man is so hirsute, his hair grows between scenes. And didn't the hairdresser go crazy with the blow-dryer that day?
Yeah.
Like, it's standing up by itself, it's shining in the sun.
He could have played Wolverine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Harry is somehow he's taking this. He's affected a bit more.
Okay. Yep.
That's just me.
No.
As you say, it's that point in the film.
Well, wasn't it because Chico saved his life, effectively?
Yeah.
Owes him
Maybe that's a
something.
first.
He has some respect for his partner, finally.
Respect. Looks like a pretty good hospital, Shane.
It looks terrible.
No, I agree. Terrible.
It looks like an insane
Help me.
asylum.
It doesn't have like a Hawaii vibe, like there's luau music in the
No,
background.
it looks cold to me. It looks really cold.
It's a bit windy.
Yeah.
The sun's out, but
I'm not disputing it's a weird place to have respite care or whatever. But yeah, look at that woman. Look at her bright magazine.
she's-
Yeah.
She's not even injured or ill. She's just coming up
She
here to
just walked up the
sunbathe.
stairs.
hotel.
Anyone using this bed? I'm just like,
She used to live there
magazine.
Oh, she walked up the stairs and got a bit puffed.
And do most nurses have time to sort of play
To play
checkers?
checkers, yeah, that's very sexist, isn't it?
My question or the statement?
No. The fact that the casting that he's a nurse playing checkers because that's all they do.
Oh, John, do you have any information on where this was?
No, it's quite silent online. It looks like it's looking southwards to sort of San Jose. There's nothing I can find, listeners.
No identifying features.
Not really. There's sort of 6 or 7 hills towards the south, going towards. I'm not quite clear on that. Well, Karen, what do you think of the brick section?
I think the exposed bricks are very sad. The stairway is dangerous, that's for sure. And I like the way Harry let Norma go through the door. I reckon he's tall enough to hold the door open for her. And then there's the dialogue that I just want to punch someone for writing. So I guess,
Do you want to hear my little song?
go for it.
As bricks a woman drowns so slowly. Harry's trying to pick up his partner's wife, but it goes nowhere.
That is brilliant. I don't think I need to say anything else because that sums it up. Because she starts on the self-blame. It's my fault, you know.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
As a woman, as a comedian.
Well, I can't speak for every woman nor every comedian, but it is such a blinking cliche that she blames herself for her husband realising the police force isn't for him. Because let's face it, it's hardly for anybody, because who wants to get shot or yelled at or punched up every day?
Surely not me.
Exactly. So she takes the fall for it, but she's also being a little bit flirty with Harry, isn't he? Like, you know, isn't she? I'm so weak.
Well, that's why we had you on the podcast, because I thought, well, I don't know, is that me, my male... do you think that's the case, Tim?
Hang on.
Do you reckon she is slyly flirting? Like, I could trade up.
How could you
I
not?
don't know if I saw it like that.
Exactly. Kim, it's worth a try.
I'm starting to see what you're seeing.
Yeah. So she, you know, denigrates herself, and of course Harry steps in. Don't ever say that. Don't talk yourself down.
Weird expression, don't low rate yourself.
I had to keep on playing it back. It's very weird phrasing.
I think Clint stuffed up in the script maybe.
I think he freefalled a bit there.
Low ball. Don't lowball yourself.
Lower grade?
That's what I thought it was at first. And I thought he was insulting her. So I had to go back and listen because I didn't have the subtitles. So, and then, you know, she's rolling her shoulders back a bit. But then the best bit is where...
We might not make it in this minute quite.
Oh, no.
Oh, a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
For the next person that comes along.
Hang on. So she blames herself for Chico deciding he wants to...
Yeah, because she could never get used to it at night when he had to leave and go and get
Well,
shot.
she thinks she blames in terms of she thinks he's happy at the force, but he's quitting because of her. Is that...
No, I think she knows that he's not actually happy in the force, but she has expressed over the countertop, you know, leaving each night, do you have to go?
Yeah,
do you have to go and
yeah.
get shot? It's like, yeah, it's my job. I have to. But then, and she's saying, like, I really wish you didn't have to. And that's planted the seed. And I was
okay.
thinking, you know what? I've got a teaching credential. I don't have to get shot at night. So now she's loving a bit of the self-blame.
What's class got to do with it? Like being scared? Is it a lower class thing to be scared?
It does not make any sense. Like so many things in this movie, even in 1971, it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe she realised her jacket looks a bit cheap.
Why am I wearing this PVC jacket?
Well, Tim, our previous reviewer on Part of the Rooftop said, are we cinematographically, are we led to believe there's a possibility that they're going to be shot at here, or is that...
I think some people are supposed to think that. I never did because there was no creepy music.
Well, yeah. Often this movie, the music's not synced up. It's great. It is great music, but it's not really earmarking what we're supposed to feel or suspect.
Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't worried about them being shot at. I was worried about characters from Australian drama Secret Life of Us just showing up, having a few cocktails and maybe a joint up there with them. Like, that's not appropriate for a hospital. They're going to get kicked out.
This is St Kilda, San Francisco.
It does seem like that to me.
Yeah, those old Art Deco apartments in St Kilda, I agree. Yeah. Well, similar vintage, I'm sure.
Do you think Harry talks to all women in the same manner? Like, he's probably just had to deal with secretaries for the last two decades. Is this a change of pace for him, having to speak to a non-secretary lady?
Yeah, I don't think he knows how to talk to women, basically.
Do we know what her occupation is?
She's just Norma. She doesn't even get a surname.
Is he looking at her ass?
Yeah, of course. He's only human. She doesn't have a name in the show, but in the credits she's Norma. Chico is Chico Gonzalez, but in the credits he's only called Chico. Rude. And, I mean, Harry knows how to treat a woman, but he's also busy, isn't he? Like, he's got so many job responsibilities. There's a serial killer on the loose.
Yeah, why is it
Who's somewhat to blame for Chico quitting the force, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, do you see Scorpio going, it's my fault, you know. I'm a psychopath. And now Chico's quitting. He could have been a good cop.
In the novelisation, Harry was married, but his wife died after they were married, I think in a car accident. They've just followed the screenplay.
Right.
But later on, the second movie's novelisation, Magnum Force, they have it so they were married. He married a secretary, but they divorced after 6 months. She was from like Kansas or something.
Again, that's only to give women like me hope. that is why it follows that line. Because it's better to come after a divorced wife than a dead wife. Because a dead wife would be glorified.
Yeah.
She was perfect.
It makes Clint cool sad.
Cool sad. Of course you've got that grief I can never heal you of. But if it's nasty ex-wife secretary, I can beat that any day.
I love your confidence.
Yeah, I think I thought that when I was 5 too. I also don't ever think that of anyone, unfortunately, but certainly not with Clint Eastwood or Dirty Harry.
Tim, do you think Harry's on duty now, or is this his leisure?
Well, the cops
suit
are
as
always
well?
on duty, aren't they?
Well, yes, but is he on the
Officially?
clock?
No, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen Karen the movie The Gauntlet? It's sort of he plays a dim cop, Clint Eastwood, who's just transporting Sondra Locke across the country. Anyway, they're talking about retiring, and he calls it getting off the bricks. Like that's off the bricks. So
I reckon we've just found a segue. Chico's off the bricks, and years later, Clint decides to get off the bricks.
This stairwell thing's quite an interesting shot. Like normally they would just have the scene in an elevator, wouldn't they? Talking or
yeah,
It's a walk and talk, yeah, but it's quite, it frames up pretty nicely. It's like an Escher painting in a way to me. Like just, it's interesting. It's got
it's
a lot
really
of three
unusual.
dimensions to it.
Yeah.
I expect to see like Pebble Dash, or it reminds me of like, is it a stairwell to a pool or something?
Yeah, it's so old-fashioned 70s. I love the Offspring comment. It's so Offspring. I can smell the urine in those stairs from my own theatre.
Shout out to the location scout, because I think it's an interesting building
Yeah.
to shoot. I don't know if it's exactly a hospital, but they made it work.
Got a nice quote here, Tim. Harry is a new character in film. Not only is he an anti-hero, he's an anti-hero who is a loser. Romantically too, he has resorted to perving and having nice conversation with his partner's wife.
Who wrote that?
A reviewer.
That reviewer is wrong because he's not an anti-hero.
No, he's a hero.
He's a hero.
Is he a loser but a hero?
He's not a loser. He finds serial killers and kills them. Well, we all get what we can, but also, I mean, he doesn't actually do anything to Norma,
No.
and he smiles nicely at the lady who lost her 10-year-old son.
Well, we thought that was more... He didn't know how to answer it, so he said to Chico, you talk to her. He gave a sort of forlorn
Oh, but
look.
he's got to look for forensic evidence. He's busy. He can't do the science and the PR. Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Zardos, Tim?
No.
Sean Connery, you know, that
in the
futuristic-
bikini.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sci-fi. I haven't seen it, but I know.
Well,
what
Harry's the
you're talking about.
personification of that, where, you know, the godhead says, the penis is evil, the gun is good.
Wow.
So, you
It's
should
a
watch
real
it.
wacky movie, isn't it?
I'd love to see Zardos Minute. If any of our minute-by-minute brethren out there could start that would be great.
Brethren, that's a good word.
Well, that's pretty much all I had for this minute, guys. It's a, if you're a fan of bricks, what's your favourite... Anyone have a favourite brick scene? Or a stairwell, scissor, stairs scene in a movie? Back to the Future 2 comes to mind,
This will be mine forever now.
What's the one in Back to the Future?
where he's just trying to get the almanac. Remember when he goes to the alternate 1985? And he's escaping the goons, the Billy Zane goons, you know.
On the stairway.
Do you remember that? The stairwell, and he jumps over? Leading to the bit where he goes, besides, I never matched the gun that killed your dad. You know, he jumps... They're called scissor stairwells, these, and he jumps from one to the other. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it again.
Actually, it's quite... You know what? That stairwell is actually more suited to a car park than an apartment.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So I wonder even if, for continuity, it's not even the real
Not the same building. Yeah, pretty likely.
tricked us like they do in the cinema. Because it looks a lot like a...
You know a movie that had a lot of good bricks in it? The Lego movie.
That is a dad joke.
You're welcome.
I wish we had time to talk about Sondra Locke.
Oh, we've got one more minute to do. Well, Karen, I suppose, do you like that the antagonist and the protagonist in this movie don't have a real background? If you can see that this isn't a real background about Harry, and that he's just, the Western hero. He comes from nothing and goes to nothing. There's no growth. There's no real growth to Harry in this movie either.
I do concede that Scorpio, we know so little about Scorpio, and we know so little about Harry. The Harry lack of evidence is intoxicating. That's like, ooh, what could his story be? Mm-hmm. The lack of Scorpio's history is just frustrating. Like, did he just wake up one day and decide to be an ugly serial killer?
Ugly?
Like the face.
Choir boy.
But, yeah, certainly as a child and as an adult watching movies, I used to think, I need more information. What's the context? So no wonder I'm a fan of French films and, political films where you do get the entire story.
The character development.
And really, I think this put me off violent films since then. I've barely
You were traumatised.
deeply traumatised.
You were too young.
I was way too young, but also I am a wimp. Like I could have chosen to get over it, but I couldn't. The violence was terrifying. The floating down the river with that gigantic face is evil. Well, Chico, you're
Well, with that in mind, Karen, your trauma aside, do you think you can please join us for one more minute of review?
I would love to.
And you, Tim? Daddy?
Yeah, for sure.
Terrific. Shane?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
All right, well, we'll catch you next time on Dirty
Harry.
Minute.
The chief is dead. It's all inside Callahan's head. Yes, we know. If we look hard enough, it will show.